Part 3 of our explosive impact coverage, and this time you actually get to see my reaction on these cards as opposed to trying to guess by the tone of my voice. So let's go ahead and continue on with the psychic and the fighting type. So this one might take a little bit, maybe just because these two together are a bit longer than the other ones, but we'll go ahead and get started with the first one on this list, the Xatu line. Let's see, a double colorless, energy gauge, 30 base damage. Your opponent reveals their hand. If they have any energy cards in their hand, this attack does 60 more damage. Okay, not bad. With a choice band, it can do 120. It's a little iffy just because, again, you're gonna have to rely on the chance of your opponent having an energy card, and if they don't, then you're only doing the 30 base damage. It maybe pairs up with a Gumshoos GX, but even then no one really plays Gumshoos GX anymore. So something not really to kind of keep on our radar for right now. We do have an Espeon, and let's just take a double look at this. This is actually a pretty nice art to this Espeon here. Let's see what we got. Energy Crush, 20 base damage. This attack does 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so if essentially everyone has at least one energy, if it's a full field, then you're doing 120, 140? Does attack does 20 more damage? Yeah, 140. That's pretty good. It's got an interesting first attack to draw 3 cards. We've seen that before in Lapras GX, and I'm sure a bunch of other cards. But for a non-GX, that's actually not bad. Espeon might see a little bit of play. Only because we have that energy evolution Eevee, which makes it, you know, a little bit faster to get going. So maybe this Energy Crush, though, your opponent could play around it. So something to look out for. Now these unknowns are weird. Like I don't understand who created this idea of putting like contingencies on these unknowns, but. Okay, so each one has a certain condition that once you meet it, once it's met, then you win the game. So besides the fact that they all have hidden power, they all have an ability, and each one is different. So damage. Once during your turn, this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, and your bench Pokemon have a combined total of at least 66 damage counters on them, you may choose to win the game. Interesting that it has to be only bench Pokemon. So that's 5 Pokemon, right? And for them to have 66, let's see, if each one has 12, that's 60, 5 times 12 is 60, right? So you're gonna essentially need to spread about, I don't know. I'm not a fan, so 13 damage counters on each of your Pokemon, plus 1, it's weird. I don't know in what, like, deck you would allow that to happen. I don't think anyone ever does, but I guess we can consider it. I don't think this one's going to see as much play as the other two. Ability Hand. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you have at least 35 cards in your hand, you may choose to win the game. 35 cards. 35 cards in your hand. How does that even happen? Who is going to allow that? I mean, I'm pretty sure your opponent is going to have at least maybe one judge. 35 cards in your hand? You gotta have some serious draw power for that. Maybe, I guess you could start off with like what is it? Is it a Drampa GX, the Big Wheel Shuffle, or Metagross GX? No, it's the Drampa GX, and there's someone else that does it too. I don't think this one's gonna see play. Now this one though, this one might actually see some play here and there. So once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and your opponent has at least 12 supported cards in the Lost Zone, you may choose to win the game. This one is a little bit more doable because I believe there is a Pokemon or a trainer card of some kind that we can choose to look in our opponent's hand and then be able to pick a card and put into the Lost Zone. That one's a little bit more doable. Again, though, I don't understand where these people are coming from. Like, 35 cards in your hand, 66 damage counters, and then 12 support. This is the only reasonable one, I think. I don't know. I'm not a fan of these cards, to be honest with you. I kind of wish maybe they're a little bit more reasonable, but I guess if they were, then that would just make it too easy. So I guess the ridiculousness, I get the idea behind it, but I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about these Unknown. Unknown are cool. I remember collecting them quite extensively when I first played Gold and Silver, but yeah, we're just going to move on from that. Wobbuffet. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, each player's Prism Star Pokemon can't attack and has no abilities. This is an ideal Wobbuffet. We've had a Wobbuffet before that blocked abilities if it wasn't on a Psychic type and it was in the active slot. This one is a lot better because it can just sit on your bench and any Prism Star Pokemon can't do anything. Solgaleo, Lunala Prism, Victini Prism, Celebi Prism, that's it. They're done. There's nothing else they can do. So I am a fan of this Wobbuffet, and I think it would be a nice little tech here and there in certain decks. So keep an eye out for this Wobbuffet. You're going to see it, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive on that. Girafarig. Choose 2 cards from your opponent's discard pile and put them in a lost zone. Here we go. Now see, this is going to help out that other Unknown, because if your opponent is just going through their prize card, or going through their supported cards, which they normally do with a Zoroark GX deck, you know, they discard their supported cards like crazy, then you can use Girafarig and pick 2 of them, put them to the lost zone. So you need like about 6 turns of this, which isn't completely unreasonable. The HP of 90 doesn't help it, but you know, this is a good start towards that combo there. Neoligo, Nightcap. This attack can only be used when your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. Choose an attack of one of your opponent's Pokemon to play and use it as this attack. Okay, it's a bit of a risk because your opponent is essentially 1 GX card away, but this is only for 1 energy on a non-GX, and you get to choose an attack on any one of your opponent's Pokemon. One attack could be a huge hit, could be a GX attack to maybe help you win the game if you have 2 prize cards remaining. So yeah, I think this Neoligo is definitely worth teching in for sure. No more than 1, I would say, because again, it's only for 1 energy, but you have to wait till your opponent's down to 2 prize cards, which could get tricky. It's pretty sweet art though. I like it. All right, Poipole. This is the one I think I talked about beforehand, where you get to look at all your face down prize cards and you just put them back face down. And then we have this Naganadel, which I believe I've talked about before too. Turning point, 80 base damage. If you have exactly 3 prize cards remaining, this attack does 80 more damage. Okay, so 160, choice bands 190. It's very interesting. Again, a lot of these Ultra Beasts are very, they have like specific prize card requirements. And I haven't seen a deck that really utilizes all of them efficiently, which I'm wondering if there is a strategy behind all of this. There's gotta be, especially with all these unit energies and these beast dreams and things like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there's an Ultra Beast deck out there somewhere. So we talked about Naganadel before. All right, now we get into the fighting types. Sudowoodo, we did talk about how this was kind of like what's it called? I can't even think of the word, but we lost the Mimic Sudowoodo, and so now we have the Hit Harder, which can do 100 damage as long as this Sudowoodo was hit on your last turn, which could combo well with the Hustle Belt, because if it doesn't get KO'd, it's definitely less than half or less than 40, so it would do more damage. So interesting, something to note there. Phanpy, Donphan. This one is an interesting ability. If this Pokemon has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack, this Pokemon is not knocked out, and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead. Okay. Obviously this would combo with a Max Potion, but in order for you to attack with this Donphan, you need a Fighting and a double Colorless. Now let's see what the attack does. 70 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon's Rolling Spin attack does 70 more damage. Okay, 140, 170 with a Choice Band. That's reasonable. But can you keep it consistently going? It's a little tricky, because again, you need 2 energy attachments, and it has to be on a full HP. So I don't know if this is going to work. It might be like a nice little tech here and there, but yeah, there's no like consistent way to keep it going. So yeah, well, it's not like totally something that's going to be played a lot. I do like the art behind it, but Donphan is usually like a fan favorite. There's a lot of people for Donphan, so I'm pretty sure we'll see this somewhere. All right, Hitmontop. Rapid Spin, 30 damage, switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, then your opponent switches to active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. So it's an attack plus a Guzma, basically. I'm wondering who you could put out in the front. Maybe someone that, maybe a Sigilyph? Sigilyph GX, where it can't be hit, or Shuckle GX. Shuckle GX can't be hit by opponent's Pokemon that has 2 energy or less, so that could be interesting. A nice little hit and run Pokemon. It is a basic Pokemon, so it's not that bad. Yeah, this is reasonable. It's not the most ideal HP, but for a hit and run Pokemon, it's not that bad at all. And then we finally get the Larvitar, Pupitar line. We'll talk about Tyranitar in the next video, but this, what is it, Pupitar, Pokebeach. Pokebeach and their jokes. I mean, there's a lot of Pupitars out there. Ability, Bullet Evolution. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may choose to have any damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's attacks reduced by 50 until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's interesting. You may choose to have any damage done to this Pokemon by 50. I wonder, why is it an option? Is there another strategy behind that? I'm not quite sure. Either you get knocked out or you reduce it by 50, I guess, to leave it open to be evolved? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the Psychic and Fighting. That seems like a little bit more of a shorter video, but there's really no like highlighted cards here. I mean, the Unknown are like the weirdest Pokemon in this set, but there's no GX for Psychic or for Fighting. Just some nice little, like, you know, cards to consider. I think if anything, my one card to highlight out of this review probably be this Nihilego. Just that being able to copy your opponent's attacks, any one of those attacks for just one energy, is pretty powerful. So this is something to make sure that you consider when you're making a Psychic deck. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Yeah, so next time we've got... I'm not sure how I'm going to do this one, because we have Dark, which is not that many, Metal, which is only 2, and then Fairy, and then Colorless. So I might actually... I might actually just finish off the whole ordeal here. Yeah, just because there's not a whole lot to talk about. We've already covered that Lugia. So the other colorless Pokemon, not much to say, but I think I'm going to cover the rest of it in one more video, so that way it doesn't drag out any much longer as it needs to be. Alright, but that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and all the other YouTube stuff I got to say. And I'll see you all in the next video.